want you to ask yourself something, man. I want you to ask yourself if something happened to a loved one of yours. Somebody young, a child, your child. And that individual that did that to that person got sent to an institution. Whether you're a Christian and believe in forgiveness, or you think there's a heaven for everybody, deep down in the pit of your soul, wouldn't you want something to maybe happen to that person? Today we're going to talk about those times, man. We'll talk about instances where I was a part of it. I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up, man. This ain't going to be pretty. This is not going to be a video that you want your children to watch. This is for the adults. With that being said, let's get into it, y'all. Retribution. An eye for an eye. Different religions preach it. People talk about it all the time, what they would do. But you never know what you're going to do until you get put in that situation, do you? There's a lot of dudes that I know that said, oh, I would do this, or I would do that. And when it came down to it, they didn't do nothing. They sat there, twiddling their thumbs. Ask yourself, how far would you be willing to go for your loved ones? How far would you be willing to go for somebody you didn't even know? Just off of principle. Just because you know that that person had no chance in hell to defend themselves. But now you have an opportunity to get some get back. It's 1998. I'm at a place called the Rappahannock Regional Jail on Dead Man's Curve on Lafayette Boulevard, Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm doing a 5-year sentence. Carjacking. Pretty serious case, actually. Almost got 20 years. Being that I was young, 17, 18 years old, got first time offender case, they give me 5. Dropped it down in a plea bargain. I was waiting to go down to prison. Dude gets put in our block. Real quick. Give you some aesthetics, man. The blocks are old. It's like an old-timey jail. Had bars instead of doors. Very small. There was only like 5 cells. 2 men to a cell, sometimes 3, one on a boat. Got so overcrowded that they'd have them out there in the day room, which is really just a walkway, a bench, another set of bars, and a TV on the other side of those bars. We had to make a newspaper to poke through the thing, a newspaper like Spirit thing to change the channels on the TV. It's an old jail. It's no longer there. They tore it down. So, it was cramped. When you first come into one of these blocks, it was a set of bars. You come walking in, and you're sitting in a cage. Everybody looking at you. They didn't even have tables. What we would do is we'd take blankets, poke holes in the corner of these blankets, fold them in half, and tie them to the bar so we could have a table to play cards on. Old school. These jails today, they're like Holiday Inns compared to them jails. Those are my first experience of doing time in the United States. Nowadays, you got a MP4, phone, whatever they are. They got the tablets, and you can email and do. Man, we were writing letters. I'm almost 50, so I've seen the transition, man. I've seen the way doing time looks now compared to what it did then. You got dudes in prison now making TikToks. Back in my day, if we even thought you were posting anything of us, about where we're at on social media, you're a rat. Put that damn phone away. You're giving them too much game right now. Anyway, like I said, it's 1998. I'm doing my first prison bid. I'd already been down the road as a juvenile, a place called Beaumont. Wild ass place, did a couple years there. It is what it is. I was rocking and rolling, man. I was into my bed. I've been locked up almost a year already. Waiting to go to prison. Do this little 5-piece and go home. You hear the bars clink. That means they're getting ready to bring someone in. We saw them walking down the hallway with their little mattress and their little bag, the tote. Well, This gigantic dude comes walking in. When I tell you this man was massive, he was massive. 6'4", every bit of 300 plus pounds. Big ass white boy. Ginger with a mullet. His name was David Jinx. Looking at, he got tattooed. Looking at him, you think he's, he's not a cat. Big ass white boy. Glad to have him on the team. The thing about it is, things ain't always what they appear, man. As we know with a past situation with somebody that used to be real close to me. You can't just go off of what you see, man. Because there's some real scumbags in the world. They don't all look the part. David Jinx is one of those people. Comes walking in, he's real quiet. Can't really look nobody in the eye. That's one red flag. Goes to his room, lays down, and goes to sleep. He has court the next day. So, while he's at court, it's just another day on the block. Boom, boom, boom. No one has spoke with this guy. One of the COs comes in, chucks a newspaper up underneath the cell doors. He says, yo, y'all check that out. We already knew what it meant. It meant somebody in our block. It was all bad. Somebody in our block had one of them funny charges. Well, we started looking at it, and we see David Jinx. This dude, from what we understood, him and his homeboy done grabbed this 10-year-old little girl. Drove across state lines into Virginia. Did things to this poor child that shouldn't have been done, that she still deals with to this day. I will not put her name out there. I will not put her family through that again. I felt my blood begin to boil as I read the newspaper article. I felt all the anger that I've been holding in for a year start to come to the surface. I thought to myself, what a scumbag, what a piece of shit. What was worse was, he had gotten 5 years for it. 5 years. Well, that didn't sit good with us. It sure as hell didn't sit good with me. So, like I told you in the beginning of the story, though, this was a big guy. Could not whoop him myself. Just couldn't do it. Not big enough. David and Goliath. But I had some good dudes in there with me. My homeboy J-Bird, salute. My homeboy E. We all came from a neighborhood called Bragg Hill. That's where I lived at. The only white dude in Bragg Hill at the time. Well, we got to chopping it up. So me, J-Bird and E decide when this clown comes back from court, we're going to handle our business. I'm new to the game. I'm not great at making weapons yet. Didn't know how to make a poker. Didn't know how to make a shake. Didn't know how to make none of that. But I'd heard about soap in a sock. Cool. I had that. So what you do is you take about 3 or 4 bars of that Lisa soap, right? We call it Lisa soap because there's Lisa on the front of it. And it's like live soap. It's just a block. It's like a little brick. You put it in a sock. Tie a sock. You get to work, right? Okay. Well, I messed up. When I put that soap in that sock, I tied it real tight. All the way to the bottom. Didn't give any wiggle room. In my mind, I was like, yeah, it's going to be sturdy. I can use it. That's wrong. Never do that. You always give it about 1 inch or 2 left so it's got room to wiggle. Otherwise, what could happen is what happened. David Jinx comes back from court, man. And we're waiting on it. And it's in those moments where your heart feels like it's going to beat out of your chest. It's in those moments where you have to really put the rest of the world to the side because you're about to commit a crime in front of everybody and you know the consequences and repercussions of it. But you got to put that to the side as well and understand that if you don't do this right now, it might never happen. And damn it, it needs to happen. We hear the clank of the bars come back. Boom. There he is standing there. And he's kind of looking around. He has no idea. He has no idea what's waiting for him on the other side of these bars. Ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun, bro. Just saying. So he comes walking in, and whenever you had to go to court back then, you had to pack up. I think you still do it like that. You got to pack up all your belongings so nobody takes it while you're at court. And you put in property. You change out for court if you're going to trial or whatever. You put on your suit or whatever, man. I don't know what he was going to court for because he had already been sentenced on this thing. Well, he's putting his stuff. We let him get his whole shit put back together. I'm like in my cell. I'm pacing. It's a big son of a bitch, man. When I tell you, like, I ain't come up to here on him. I'm almost 6 foot. This dude is big, man. So he comes out of his cell. He's got his flip-flops on. Bless him. One rule of thumb, you never go out into the day room or out of your cell without your shoes on. You're walking around with your toes out, it's not good. It's a bad look. You're not ready. It's hard to fight in thong flip-flops, bro. It really is. So, he's walking back and forth. Big. He has no idea we know what he's in here for. He strikes up a conversation with somebody. About coffee or something. I don't know what he's talking about. But right at that moment, I knew it was my time. I took that sock I had with that soap in it, and I ran up behind that big son of a bitch, and I cracked him with everything. I mean, everything I had. Whack! And because I made the sock so tight, it exploded. Boom! Looked like it was snowing in the pod. Didn't even knock him down. Didn't even knock him down. He kind of stumbled like this over. And I stood there for a second with my empty sock. Right at that moment, Bird and E jumped into action. Boom, 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 boom. All he could do was back up against the wall. And we're all clock, rock, rock, rock. And I grab one of his legs, and I tell Bird, get the other leg. And we get that big son of a bitch up, and we drop it. Boom, on the ground. Now, that cage I was telling you about, when you walk in, it's a box, it's a cage. But on one side of it, there is like a little opening where you can go into that last cell. We used to hang our laundry and stuff there. The fan was right there. We could hang towels to dry. Well, he gets dropped right in there by the grace of God. So now he's stuck. He's wedged in there. That's how big he was. He's wedged in between these bars. There's iron. He's not going anywhere. I jump up on top like a fucking orangutan, dude, and just start stomping. I mean, everything I could get, just stomping his face, his teeth, his eyes, everything. I'm trying to break his face. And my buddies are doing the same. And we commenced to, really, really putting the work to this cat, man. For that little girl. Left him there. Bloody. Completely unconscious. His head and his face started to swell really bad, man. Kind of got me worried. I was like, I think we went too far. We went in a cell, cleaned up ourselves, man, got all the blood off of our bodies and our feet and our shoes. But it looked like, it's blood everywhere. This particular jail, like I said, was old. Think about Mayberry. No cameras. There's no cameras in here. CO comes to do a round. They come and do a round about every 30, 40 minutes. As soon as he walks in the pod, lock down. 10:33. What time it was? They bring the gurney in there. They drag David Jenks out. I'd say about 5-6 hours go by. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., they come lock all three of us up. I don't know how they knew. David Jenks wasn't awake yet. Somebody in the pod told on us. They had to have. Somebody slid a note. It's unfortunate, man, why they would even slid a note. It's bullshit. Dude got what he had coming. Anyway, they lock us up. We go to the hole. Now, this is where it got a little weird. So they hadn't formally charged us yet because this guy's in a coma. They're waiting on him to pass on is what it is. Whether he passes on or not is what's going to be dictating our charge. Is it going to be manslaughter? Is it going to be assault by mob? Is it going to be this, that? They hadn't really figured out what exactly to charge us with. We sit in the hole about 2 months, 3 months, I think. And finally, we get our charge one day. They call us down to the booking desk, which means you're getting a new charge. They charge us all with malicious wounding. Malicious wounding is wounding with the intent to maim, disable, disfigure, or which is not a good charge, seeing especially how that's what I was already in prison for. So it's all bad for me. Of course, I started going over my head. Was it worth it? You know, should I have done all this? And, you know, my buddies, we're all back in the hole. We're keeping it solid. We're not saying nothing. All three of us. I give us that. None of us said nothing. We ended up going to court about it, taking it to trial. And I've told this story before on this channel, right? But I've never sat down, I think, with great detail and talked about it. And I wanted new people that have subscribed to the channel to hear this story. We're sitting there in court, Fredericksburg Circuit Court. And I believe it was Judge Stevens, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was this judge's name at the time. And he says, you know, it's hard to say what exactly transpired, Mr. Jinks, because there's no cameras. All we have is your word against theirs. Now, obviously, there's some marks. Obviously, there was some damage done. He said, you boys stand up. And so we stand up. He said, I'm going to find all three of y'all guilty of assault and battery. I'm going to run your sentence, which is going to be 6 months, concurrent with your pre-existing sentences that you're already doing. Basically, what he was saying was, yes, he had to give us something because we literally beat that dude's brains out of his ears. So he gave us 6 months to run basically concurrent. It was nothing to us, and he knew that. We're all doing 5, 10, 15 years. It doesn't matter. After he was done with us, we sit down. Now, we were humble. We didn't smile. We didn't gloat because that could easily be turned into something else. So we just sat there quietly, realizing we had just been handed a gem. Stands David Jinks up and he says, Mr. Jinks, I hope you understand that there's not a lot of mercy. There's not a lot of, I don't feel for you. I know what you did. I know what you've been found guilty of. And I know that you really didn't get a very good sentence for it. And he says, on behalf of the state of Virginia, on behalf of this court, and he points over to us and he goes, and these boys, I'd like to be the first to welcome y'all to the Virginia Department of Corrections. Have a nice day, sir. Hey, sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then, don't it? Retribution. Eye for an eye. No matter how bad that man got beat on, it'll never compare to what that little girl went through. Some people believe in God. Some people believe in nothing. But I believe in the human spirit. And I believe that some people, no matter how bad they might be criticized or how looked at or perceived by a court of law or even society, there's still a little bit of good left in them. And sometimes it takes a bad person to do a good thing for somebody. Till next time, y'all. Much love to the Gladiator Gang. Salute to all my A1s from day one. And as always, stay up, stay out, and stay sucker free, baby.